Hi guys, so I am going to be reviewing Dragon Pearl. In this, I just read it, so I will be doing spoilers because it's just simply that way. I would recommend this book, so if you haven't read it, I would recommend it. It's good, especially if you like Rick Riordan's books. I would recommend it. So I'm gonna do spoilers from now on, so if you haven't read the book, I would leave. But yeah, I would recommend it. It's a great book. Okay. Now going on to spoilers. So this book is all about how this girl is trying to find her brother, and she goes through all these crazy things to go and try to find him. And I really like it. It's a good book. I probably won't say it'll be in my top 3 favorite books of 2022, but it's fun and it was good. My one complaint I have is I feel like nothing really happened that was crazy or impactful in this book. It was just the main character living their life and doing these crazy things, which was interesting. Like, her being a fox and being able to turn into all these different people was really interesting and was a cool thing. But I was expecting something more like Percy Jackson, where we were fighting monsters, and there wasn't that. The villain was the head of a spaceship. Like, it was nothing like that impactful. We didn't get any like Ares or Percy fights from the Lightning Thief in this book, and that's what I was wanting. So I'm a little let down on that, but I feel like I was just expecting too much from this book. Uh, so yeah, it's definitely not gonna end up being like my favorite book of all time, but I would recommend it. I liked the characters. That was probably my favorite part, was the characters. I think Min is a great main character, and just everything with foxes was so cool and how they can shapeshift. And then Jang and all the other ghosts were super cool too. And then her two friends that are on that are a goblin and a dragon. Those characters were really cool. So I really like the characters. Um, I really like the characters also. Another thing I think they could have done a little bit better in this book was the humor. I don't remember like I probably kind of laughed, but I don't remember flat out laughing at all in this book, which is kind of sad because I like humorous books. But yeah, can't really. That's nothing. It's just a little critique. It's not a reason not to read the book. Um, the ending was kind of just like tying up all the loose ends, and then oh, there's this open-ended question for the sequel, which I think was done the best it possibly could be. It's all about the dragon pearl, and then they get the dragon pearl, and then they do all this stuff with the dragon pearl. Um, and it's that conclusion wasn't as interesting to me as the one about her brother. I really liked how they did that and how they go to this planet and they see that he's a ghost and he turns on them, but then he comes back and he says, "Oh, I did that. I did something horrible," and then they go on adventures together at the end of the book. I wish it was longer, which it seems like the second book is just that. So I'm excited to read the second book. I probably won't read it like I don't have a need to read it right now, so it probably won't be read in February. But I hope to read it at least in March or sometime this summer is probably when more likely. Um, so yeah, it's a fun book. Uh, what's another thing? I like the writing style. I thought the writing style was really good, and it had some really cool ways of explaining all of these different characters because you could really imagine what these characters looked like. And I feel like the explanation of the characters was done really well. It was not too little explanation of the characters and not too much, because if you have too much you'll get little fires everywhere, but if you get too little you'll get like Clifford the Big Red Dog or something like that, which Clifford the Big Red Dog is great, but that's not really what you want in Dragon Pearl. So I think they did a great job with it. Um, and with the explanation of the characters and just the writing style in general, I I like the plot. I talked about the plot, but I feel like the plot of her trying to find her brother is a used plot, but it's done there's been plenty of stories like that. But it's done in a way that feels refreshing and new because of all of these different characters and all of these different kinds of characters. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a shape-shifting fox in any other book I've ever read. And it's so, although the plot and the just if you read she's trying to find her brother, that doesn't seem that interesting, but if you put the other elements in it, I think it makes it really, really interesting. And I feel like she did a great job with that. Another thing I like is just the dynamic between the two characters. My favorite dynamic probably had to be the goblin and the dragon. I really liked their relationship, but I also liked the brother-sister relationship between John and Maine. I thought those two were probably the best relationships, but I feel like had written very, very good relationships in this book. And there isn't a love at first sight relationship either, which was very, very nice because I hate those so much. Love at first sight is almost never done well. So thank you for not doing that, because for some reason books like to do that, and if you're gonna have a relationship, please make it a slow burn. But they didn't even do that, which I'm good with. Make your main character be single. Tell people you can be happy with your brother or your sister having a close relationship with you and not having a romantic relationship with anyone. I really liked that was shown, because I gotta say, I love some of these main characters that have relationships. Like Percy and Annabeth are some of my is actually probably my favorite relationship I've ever read in any book ever. But it's unlike anything that I've ever read, but it's still a relationship in YA or kid, or I hear some people saying it's YA. I personally don't think it's YA. I think it's meant for children, but you're able to have your own opinion on that. And I feel like a better way of explaining it is Harry and Ginny in the Harry Potter movies. The books is another story. I love Harry and Ginny in the books, but in the movies, they have nothing in common. They're just super awkward, but it's because they need to have a relationship. And they didn't do that. So thank you to the author of this book, which I will not say the name because I am definitely going to butcher it. I would assume it's Yoon Holly, but I don't know. Hopefully I got that right. I don't mean to be offensive if I didn't say it right. So yeah. Yeah, that I really liked how there wasn't a romantic relationship that felt forced, and there wasn't one at all. If it doesn't feel forced like with Percy and Annabeth, I'm fine with it, but it more than likely it'll feel forced. Because books do that for some reason. I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, I liked that part of the book. And like I said, not a whole lot of crazy things happen. Like, there's no monster fights. It's just this girl pretending. The beginning of it is her running away, and then and the middle chunk, I don't know why they spend so much time on this, but it's a cool part of the book, I guess. It's just her pretending to be Jang, which is a cadet that died when she was on that died when, and people think she died, so she just replaces Jang's spot, which is done. It's a really good part of the book. It's probably one of my favorite parts of the book, but I don't know why it was like people were talking about this so much, and I liked it, but it was just like, okay, let's move on to something that isn't training classes or Jang or Man or whatever going over the book. It's interesting. I really like the connections. The trio in that part was really, really awesome, but many of the things that were happening were pretty boring. I'm not gonna lie. And then they go to the planet, and then the book ends. So, like, that really shows not a whole lot happens in this book. It's mostly done well. It's just sometimes you're like, okay, this has been happening for 100 pages. Let's get it. Let's get a move on, please. Come on, pick up the pace. And I felt that a lot towards the end of sections, but I feel like they mostly had a good idea of where to stop the book and where to stop that section, which is done pretty well. It does sometimes drag on a little bit too long, but it's never so long that I feel like I want to pull my hair out, unlike a little other book, Little Fires Everywhere. I will never stop with that. I will never stop with that, just so you guys know. I think I've made stabs at Little Fires Everywhere twice in this video, and this video is only 11 minutes long. So, yeah. I liked, it was fun. Another thing, this has nothing to do with the book, but I really liked the pictures of foxes or dragons. It's dragons. Some of them are foxes. Some of them are dragons. I really liked the artistry of these. Here's 22. I don't know why, but I've had that song stuck in my head, and I don't know why. I haven't listened to it in a very long time. And then, like, there's another one, but I've had that song stuck in my head for the last couple days. Just random things like that you're gonna hear in my reviews. Okay, so those are examples, and I really thought they did a good job. Also, can we just talk about how beautiful this cover is? This cover is beautiful. It is so pretty, and then the colors, it's so pretty. I love the cover. And then, like, the little fox there is just, oh, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I really like the cover. So I don't really feel like I have very much to say about this book. It's just fun, and although there's definitely issues, like, I feel like it could have more humor in it. I feel like it dragged on too much sometimes, and not a whole lot ends up happening in the grand scheme of the story, but it was a fun ride. I would recommend this book if you are a fan of, like, the Percy Jackson series. Don't be expecting the same, I don't know, like, don't be expecting the same story, but be expecting the same feel. If you like the feel of the Percy Jackson books, you aren't going to get, like, the sarcastic humor that you get from Percy Jackson, but everything with these crazy things happening. Like, I feel like the shape-shifting thing would have happened in Percy Jackson, and we just wouldn't have seen that as weird. So the ideas of this book, I feel like, are very similar to Percy Jackson, which I hear many people comparing these books to Percy Jackson, which is why I'm comparing it to Percy Jackson, because I'm betting many people that are watching this video are fans of Percy Jackson. So the ideas are similar to Percy Jackson, but the feel and the overall story really isn't. So I feel like that's a better way of explaining it. So yeah, it's fun, it's good. I liked the characters, I liked some of the things they did with their personalities, and I liked the writing style. The writing style was probably my favorite part. So it's been about 15 minutes, so I'm going to move on from this video and probably go to bed. Let's be honest, I'm gonna go to bed. So yeah, that's The Dragon Pearl. If you want to pick up this book, I don't know where you can read it. Probably look at your library, look at your Barnes & Noble, Half Price Bookstore, wherever you buy your books. And there's plenty of other places too that I'm not thinking of. Amazon, or a small business small business bookshop, or just going to the library. You can't find this book, but some other books I'm reading right now, I'm listening to them or on Hoopla, which is crazy. Hoopla is so good. This is not sponsored, but if you want free audiobooks or ebooks or soundtracks, even soundtracks, when a new album comes out, you can go and watch it, or not watch it, listen to it on Hoopla for free, and it's awesome. I've done that for so many different soundtracks I've wanted to listen to. Like, this is not sponsored. It feels like it's sponsored, but go check out Hoopla if you want something awesome that will just make your reading life so much easier, because it did for me. That's how I'm reading The Visions and We Hunt the Flame. That's the other book I'm reading on there right now. So yeah, it's awesome. Nothing to do with Dragon Pearls, just it popped in my brain, and it'll probably go on there someday, so go check out Hoopla if you want. So me rambling about Hoopla for a minute made this video longer, so I'm officially gonna end it here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I love you 3000, and stay safe. Bye guys!